Is 30 minutes. Conditions apply. The time by Sagicor Bank is.
It's 7 o'clock. Time now for the Morning Watch.
Listeners to Love 101 FM are advised that the views and opinions expressed in this program are not necessarily those of Love 101 FM.
Hello and welcome to the Morning Watch on Love 101 FM. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. A special welcome to our listeners on love101.org, and if you're overseas and on the move, US listeners can access us at 712-832-8001. And if you're in the UK, 0330-332-6541, or join us via the Love 101 FM app that can be downloaded from the Google Play Store or the Apple Store. You can also join us on Love 101 FM Facebook and YouTube Live. In the first watch today, shrinkflation and the Jamaican consumer. That's shrinkflation and the Jamaican consumer. In the second watch, addressing concerns about child labor in Jamaica. Our social media question we ask, what is your reaction to shrinkflation? Please share your responses on our Love 101 FM Facebook page and YouTube channel, and also on WhatsApp 876-997-3125 using the hashtag The Morning Watch. We'll share your responses later on in the program, but before all of that, here's I quote.
I quote for this morning, take the gentle path, George Hibbert.
Hi, good morning, Roshane.
Good morning to you. I was going to say Stokely. I'm not going to be like the listeners yesterday. Good morning, Dr. Toussaint. How are you doing?
Yeah, man. I'm doing well. You know, our first watch is about something known as shrinkflation.
Yes, I wanted to know because it's the first time I'm hearing the term.
First time hearing it?
Yes.
All right, sir. Listen intently and carefully to the first watch, all right?
Not a problem.
I will be back after this break.
Johnville Salmon will be releasing his latest singles entitled Can't Stop Me Now and Christian, You Better Get Ready. Catch the live interview at 2:30 p.m. on Friday, June 24, Inside Alive with Sarah and Edwards, sponsored by Giwi's Pastries Limited, located at Main Street, Highgate, St. Mary. Johnville Salmon, new artist on the block, releasing his latest singles Can't Stop Me Now and Christian, You Better Get Ready. Friday, June 24 at 2:30 p.m. here on the family station, Love 101.
Sometimes all we need is a listening ear. The listening ear, the counseling, the logical reasoning, and spiritual guidance are what appeal to us. That's why I'm here. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, the counselor, your counselor on Love 101 FM, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. You know you can call on me. I will listen and more. So let's talk about what's bothering you. Anything. Tune in, listen, call in, text or voice message. I'm Dr. Joan Pinkney, counseling psychologist, ready with a listening ear. Tuesdays and Wednesdays, 10 to 11 p.m. Right here on the family station, Love 101 FM.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Now, according to a recent newspaper article entitled Shrinkflation Hits Package Sizes, and I quote, "Shrinkflation isn't new. but it proliferates in times of high inflation. It's the inflation you're not supposed to see, from toilet paper to yogurt to coffee to corn chips. End of quote. Now, what is the Jamaican reality in this regard? What really is shrinkflation? And why is this so? And what can or should consumers do in light of such a reality? Well, to answer these and other related questions, we have online Mr. Trevor Samuels, PRO, past president of the National Consumers League, Mr. John Mahfood, president of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, JMEA. Good morning to you both.
Good morning. How are you this morning?
I am well, and you?
I am okay too. But
Okay.
this terminology is new to me. It must be a new one coming up. Somebody calling this one, but it's very apt.
Yes, Mr. Mahfood, you with us?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, good to have you as well, sir.
Thank you.
Great. All right, let me begin with you, Mr. Samuels. I don't know, what is your understanding of this term, shrinkflation?
Well,
Why is it an issue? Why is it an issue?
The title seems to suggest itself because everything seems to be coming in smaller and smaller packages for the same price or more. So that is how I understand it. I could be wrong, but that's how it seems to me. Because when you look at, for example, a loaf of bread, it has shrunken, but the price has not. And even it takes it even beyond food. When you look at houses, for example, I can go back because I am not a young man, but I can go back to many, ages. If you look at, for example, houses in Mona Heights, the old Mona Heights scheme, those were large houses compared to Portmore or compared to what is being built now, and the prices, are far, far, far different. So therefore, I take it for granted that, the title probably means that the articles and the commodities have shrunk in size in terms of packaging, but not the price.
All right, so
I hope I'm correct in defining that.
Right, so the items or the packaging has shrunken, smaller.
In many respects, yes.
But the prices have not shrunken correspondingly.
Not so, they have inflated.
Okay, all right. Mr. Mahfood, president of the JMEA, are any members of your organization practicing shrinkflation? And if so, why?
Let me say to you that this is more a phenomenon of the U.S. market than it is of the Jamaican market.
Interesting.
And that is because traditionally inflation rates are very low in the U.S. and companies find it very difficult to increase their prices because the consumers are not prepared to accept price increases during periods of low inflation. And in addition to that, you have very powerful retailers like Walmart and big supermarket chains who dictate to a large extent what the suppliers do. So suppliers in general in the States find it hard to change prices. So there is a tendency to have them keep the box size the same, but reduce the contents of the box. Now, obviously, they have to change the label to say how much is in the box. But a lot of times, people don't take note of what is on the label in quantity. And so they're sort of misled in thinking that the price is the same. In Jamaica, because we have a poorer population, we tend to have multiple packaging. We tend to have smaller packets to reflect the smaller purchasing power. So you'll have items, whether it is oats or whatever, coming in 2 or 3 different sizes. And so consumers generally can choose the size that they that they want and that compares to another product. But the problem, the difficulty in Jamaica is for consumers, is that for 30 or 40 years, we have had regular devaluations and regular price increases, and we don't have supermarket chains that are so powerful that they can dictate to suppliers. So suppliers generally, whether they're local manufacturers or importers, generally put up their prices on a regular basis because of the devaluation of the Jamaican dollar. And this hurts the consumer, of course, because the price goes up. But we don't see that inflation happening in Jamaica so far as much as it happens elsewhere.
Well, because I'm looking as I speak on a pack of banana chips. I'm looking on a bar of soap. They are smaller, but the prices have gone up. And the packaging looks more appealing, but the prices have gone up. And I'm just wondering how, perhaps it's being done more than we realize, Mr. Mahfood.
It's possible, but remember, with the shrinkflation, you leave the price the same, the packaging looks the same, but the quantity is smaller. I mean,
Yes.
we know that it happens with things that is like toilet paper, for instance, where it's hard to look at toilet paper without counting the size of the sheet or the
Right.
quantity of the sheet.
Right,
And
right.
that can happen relatively. That is one of the products that seems to change in that way. But as I said to you, because of the ease of putting up prices in Jamaica and relatively small packaging, it's not as common. That may happen, now that the inflation rate is, high in 2022, although it's trending down. It may be that companies might use that tactic, but I don't know of it happening. I haven't done a survey to find out if it's really happening in Jamaica. But consumers have to be careful. I think we don't tend to look at the quantity that's in a package. We don't compare one to the other to see if the price works out. When you compare the quantity versus the price, we go for the traditional products that we like, and we buy it whether the price changes or whether the quantity changes. And I think that's something that Jamaican people need to be more discerning in their selection of their products, not just the brand.
Yeah, Mr. Samuels, from your vantage point as a consumer advocate, what are your concerns in regards to shrinkflation?
The concern, as Mr. Mahfood mentioned, the standard roll of tissue used to be about 500 sheets. Now it's gone down to 350, and it's gone on to 400. Probably now is the standard, and people don't really notice it. But if you look at other products, such as corned beef, which is a common buy among consumers in Jamaica,
That has shrunken as well.
that has shrunken as well. And it used to be about a pound, about 16 ounces. It's gone down to 14 ounces now. It has been there for quite a while, but people don't tend to notice that. But every other thing has gone down. Remember when gasoline was being sold by the gallon? Now it is sold by the liter, and sometimes you sort of overlook that this is much less than what you would normally get at the gallon price in the old time days. So all these things, you have to take into consideration. But because the consumers probably, as Mr. Mahfood said, are not very discerning, they are probably even are forced to buy it, or they don't look at what they're really buying. But then the competition is not much. You don't have much of a choice in terms of competition. So you don't have to probably buy less than what you would normally buy, and more conservative use of what you buy. But nevertheless, you still have to. There are certain basic things that you have to buy. These are staples that you really can't do without. And some of these products, like fish products, canned fish, they are not what they used to be. A loaf of bread, is much less than what it used to be. And
Tell you what, Mr. Samuels. Tell us, young, we're up on a break. Just hold that point,
Sure.
please. We'll be right back.
I will do that, certainly.
Put your plans in motion. There's a JM Bank loan just for you. That's true. Put your plans in motion. JM Bank will help you see them through.
A JN Bank unsecured loan can help you fix up your home, handle that emergency, consolidate debt, and more. Borrow up to $5 million with low monthly payments.
Put your plans in motion.
Monthly payments as low as $19,999 per million. Conditions apply. JN Bank will help you find a way.
Shake and go with true shake. Shake and go. Grab a true shake and go. When me have to put in the work, but I'm moving slow. Grab a true shake and go. School time and not joke time. Office study hard, brain full time. Grab a true shake and go. When we up in the gym, we have to stay healthy and fit. Grab a true shake and go. Shake and go with True Shake. Packed with 9 grams of protein, 24 key vitamins and minerals to keep you going. Grab a true shake and go.
Say thanks to Dad with a gift of unlimited from Flow. Enjoy great smartphone deals when you switch now, like a ZTE A31 for just $5,000 or a TCL 20E for just $16,900 GCT included. And both phones are loaded with 7 days of unlimited talk, YouTube, social, and data for TikTok. Plus, you get a free sunglasses. Switch at a Flow store today and keep your number available while stocks last.
Every day I get bigger, every day I get better. I'm a star and I shimmer. Watch me grow, I'm a winner, yeah. Every step that I take, oh yeah. Feeling great cause I'm learning, yeah. I'm a star and I shimmer. Watch me grow, I'm a winner, yeah. La 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 la. Watch me grow with Alacta Plus.
Help support their mental development at this important stage with a unique combination of nutrients from Alacta Plus. This product is not intended to be a substitute for breast milk.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and in this, the first watch, we are discussing shrinkflation. Yes, shrinkflation and the Jamaican consumer. We have online Mr. John Mahfood, President of the Jamaica Manufacturers and Exporters Association, JMEA, and Mr. Trevor Samuels, Public Relations Officer of the National Consumers League, past president. Before the break, Mr. Samuels, it sounds to me as if you are saying that this thing is perhaps more widespread than we imagine. And also, I think you are saying that we don't seem to have much choices anyway.
Yes. Well, when you look at two popular snack items, for example, what we call the penny bun, little round buns which are popular for snacks and school children lunches and so forth.
Yeah, man, penny bun, yes.
Yeah, penny bun. We know it as that. We still call it that. We
yes, sir.
Call it that.
Yes,
when you look at the price of those things, they have really got probably the price has doubled in the last 2 years.
No longer worth a penny.
No. The common snack, food, lunch, a patty. It has less meat now than it used to, and they use more of a cheaper filler to balance out what used to be meat at one time.
Cocoa bread, same thing.
The cocoa bread has shrunken inside.
Yes.
And the patty, as I was talking about the patty, the meat is less, the quality of the meat is less. Probably they are using a cheaper cut of meat inside of the patties now. But you are paying, what $250 probably is the average price of one now. So therefore, $500 cannot give you two anymore and a drink. When you look at some of the bottles of soft drinks, well, they have at different sizes.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're not careful, you might pick up a small size, thinking it was the standard size that we were used to in the older days. So all of these things, in terms of shrinkage of the packaging, that goes on. I can remember when I was a child, that's a long, long time ago, my father used to measure his with a loaf of bread. He had a certain bread pan. And he used to say, well, all right, when he used to buy that bread for a same price, or a certain price, and that's probably a shilling and 6 pence, he had to cut it to fit into the pan. Nowadays, when he passed away a long time, but when he was around, he had now to drop it in the pan without cutting it, and it didn't fool the pan anymore. So therefore, this is not a new phenomenon. But the problem is that inflation in those days was slow and creeping. That was not a bad thing. What has spoiled the whole scene now is a rapid inflation rate, which has caused people not to be able to adjust, the consumers not to be able to adjust. And in terms of the salary increase has not matched the rate of inflation. So therefore, one has to be more careful in their shopping as they go these days, because they used to spend cannot buy what they used to buy.
Yeah. Mr. Mahfood, what's your response, sir, to those who would contend that shrinkflation is essentially an unethical, deceptive practice?
I don't know the answer to that. I think the answer really is for consumers to be aware of what they are buying and to plan their purchase. When you look at a supermarket and there are 5 items, there are 5 corned beef, or there are 5 or 6 or 7 ketchup. When you observe consumers, them going to a store with a certain limited amount of money, they don't plan the brands and the price that they're going to pay. They just pick up the brand that they're accustomed to, and they don't compare prices. I can assure you, they will pick up the brand that they have always picked up, not realizing that there is a significant price difference between brands. And yet, so when you go to the cash register with your items in your basket and the cashier starts to check off the items, and near to the end, they tell you stop because they've now reached their
budget.
Trouble.
Plan their purchase, and actually spend some time in the store looking at the brands, looking at the prices. They would be able to save a lot of money. And that's my first suggestion to consumers. They need to be discerning, not just go pick up the thing that they always pick up. And the other thing too, is the CA, the Consumer Affairs Commission, does a price survey of supermarkets once a month. Unfortunately, it's published when I say unfortunately, it's published in the newspapers, but we don't really read that much. And when you see the disparity in the supermarket in terms of the prices, they put the ones that are the most expensive in red and the ones that are least expensive in green. And you see clearly which supermarkets you should be shopping at and which you shouldn't. And I believe if consumers in Jamaica just paid a little more attention to planning their purchase, they could stretch the little money a long way.
What about the manufacturers what about the manufacturers and the producers, though, Mr. Mahfood? If you're going to be shrinking something, shouldn't the cost also shrink a little to correspond with that? I mean, if you're going to charge more for less, isn't there something that should be done?
No, but that's not
by these manufacturers.
The theory is you have a choice. You can say, okay, my price, I'm going to put up my price by 10%. But if I put it up by 10%, I might lose customers. So better I leave the price the same and reduce the quantity by 10%. And because I know consumers not really paying attention to the price on the product quantity, they get away with it. And I must say that we need to take more responsibility as consumers, because manufacturers are there to make profit, and they will use different means in order to survive. If they can put up a price, they'll put it up.
Is there anything? Is there anything as president that you would say then to your members to be more ethical? I'm back to that word, in their pricing.
I don't know if it's ethics. I think it's a question of trying to figure out how you manage your pricing that will allow you to maintain your sales. What I always say to my members is that they focus too much on the small Jamaican market, and as a result, when I say small, because we're 3 million poor people, you can only sell so much in our market. Whereas if you try to build your business by exporting to the Caribbean, you can double your sales and double your profit by increasing the market that you go after. Don't just continue to try and squeeze every bit of profit out of one little market. That's really the solution.
Yeah. Wait, Mr. Samuels, suggestions going forward then to the consumers. What should we do?
Well, as consumers, first and foremost, we really have to budget. But one of the things that Mr. Mahfoud, pointed out about the CAC showing their highest prices in red. One also has to be careful when you're shopping, because if you're going to look at the one product that they have in that supermarket, and if you're going to go somewhere else, it might cost you more to go elsewhere. So you now have to take a balance as to where you go, when you're going to go to a particular place, because it might cost you more gas or bus fare or taxi fare to go to the other places where the one item might be cheaper. So that has to be taken into consideration as well, where you're going to go. But when you're going to look at purchasing now, you have to probably budget and plan and take a little bit more time to look at the shelves and see what is on offer in the particular areas and see what brands you can exchange for. Because when you look at brands, for example, they are not all that different in terms of quality, but they might have a slight difference in price. And brand loyalty is probably something that you have to forget about in these days. And also, consumers now have to shop first and foremost to buy their needs more than they want. So you have to start with your basic needs, and when your needs are satisfied, then you might go to some of the things that you really want. But that is where you have to, to go first, shop for your needs. But then when you go into some of these places, sometimes you really do I really need this part of product, or can I do without it? And one of our problems in Jamaica is that our import contents for everything is too high, from agriculture to manufacturing to everything. We have too much importing. Why can't we use some of our more local products? For example, why are we importing, ketchup, almost finished products before we bottle it here? And sometimes we have tomatoes here going to waste. We hardly have juices, local juices on the market anymore.
We have improved.
We had orange juice.
We have improved on that a bit though, Mr. Samuels, because we have in the cassava chips and all of those things now too, eh?
Yes, but, our things sometimes, are seasonal. Our potatoes, for example, can't make chips because there's something technically wrong with how we grow potatoes in Jamaica, so we have to import all of it. But chips, yes. Yes, because I'm from a potato growing area of Jamaica. And for many, many years, we've been trying to grow potato to make chips, and we have not been successful. So most of the chips that we use in our snacks and this sort of things are imported. And that should not be so, because we have potatoes here, but there's something wrong, technically wrong, and our scientists probably need to look at what we are not doing right. So because we could make cut back on that importation of our potato chips, for restaurants and hotels and all these places. But we need to start look at some of our local products and our local agricultural products, where we can make some products, for example, school feeding snacks. We are not doing well in that. We have crushed the dairy industry to a large extent, and we cannot get local milk, as we used to. And most of what we get now are imported milk powder, which should not be the case. Jamaica, when I was a little boy going to school, they used to say Jamaica was an agricultural country. It is not so anymore, because we have lost a lot of what we used to produce. Yes. For example, what has happened to yes.
Tell you what, Mr. Samuels, I want to give Mr. Mahfoud the final word, because we have half a minute. Yeah, Mr. Mahfoud.
Sure.
I want to say that our consumers need to take more care in how they shop, and I will say just today, just do this for a difference. Make a list before you go into the supermarket of the items you want. Go into the supermarket and look at the different brands in each category and look at the prices. And you would be surprised to know if you don't just go for the brand, but you go for the price. And as Mr. Samuel said, basically they're the same. In fact, most of the products that you see under the Jamaican brands are made by only one company, made by one manufacturer. Even corned beef is generally made, although they're different brands, they're made by only one or two manufacturers. So compare the prices and look at the savings that you make. Don't just buy what you've always bought.
A fitting note on which to end. We want to thank you both for joining us, Mr. Trevor Samuels, Mr. John Mahfood. Have a productive day. Stay safe.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Listeners, the Morning Watch will return in just a moment.
A JN Bank personal unsecured loan can help you tackle your goals with monthly payments as low as $19,999 per million. Conditions apply. The time by JN Bank is...
It is now 7:31 right here on the family station, Love 101.
JNGI Online, it's so easy. Quote by renew. JNGI Online, it's just right for you. JNGI Online, easy access anywhere, anytime. It only takes minutes, just jump online. Legal insurance must be up to date. No long phone calls and no long wait. Quote by renew.
JNGI Online Motor Insurance, powered by JN General Insurance.
Do you have a heart condition? Your care should be in the hands of our experienced cardiovascular team at Partners Interventional Center of Jamaica. We're one of the leading heart centers for angiogram, stenting, pacemakers, EP studies, and ablation therapy. PICJ has the expertise and latest technology to treat all your heart needs. Call 876-995-7425 or email info@pic-jm.com for appointments. PICJ, your partners for life.
Many of our brothers and sisters lose hope when diagnosed with HIV. Some lose their will to continue being a part of society. Others are despaired by the challenges of keeping up with their treatment. We understand. But remember, people with HIV live normal and progressive lives every day. You can too if you get back on track with your HIV treatment. Live for you, live for someone, live for something.
Get back on track, get back to life.
A message from the Ministry of Health and Wellness.
Prepare for the future with over $3 million in cash and prizes with Tang. From May 9th to July 30th, a chance to win monthly prizes of laptops, tablets, smart savings accounts, school supplies voucher, grand draw on August 17th. First place $1 million, second place $500,000, third place $250,000. Buy any 6-pack of Tang for a chance to win. Upload receipts at tangpromotion.com. Drop in supermarkets or mail PO Box 2010 CSO.
Get $100 cash from Alliance for your birthday bash when you collect a MoneyGram money transfer on your birthday this June. Conditions apply.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's look at the newspapers to see what Jamaicans and others are saying and doing. In the Observer, first news item we see there, we won't accept this. Protesting Transport Authority staff say MD being forced to resign. Then we see that egg farmers urged to set up central marketing structure. We also see in the Observer, person of interest in killing of mom and 4 children held in Trelawney. And of course, we send our condolences to the family and relatives that gruesome killing yesterday. In the Gleaner, Willard Hilton was not forced to demit office, says Transport Authority chairman. Also in the Gleaner, Adventist women missionaries show love for Homestead. And then finally, in the Gleaner this morning, Spanish Town Hospital marks 70th anniversary. Congrats to them. PM promises improvement to facility. Staff praise for dedication. Those are some of the major stories in our newspapers. Well, coming up next, we'll read some of the feedback from our social media question. What is your reaction to shrinkflation? What is your reaction to shrinkflation? We just discussed the topic a while ago. All right, paying the same or more for less. all right, in terms of quality and quantity sometimes. Leave a comment on our Facebook page and YouTube channel, Love 101 FM Jamaica, or WhatsApp 876-997-3125. Soon come back.
He knows my name.
Here is your opportunity to connect with someone who will listen, pray, and give guidance. It's the telephone counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church. Please call 876-220-6474. Weekdays between 8 a.m. and 9 p.m. and Sundays between 8 a.m. and 8 p.m. Please talk to someone if you're finding it particularly challenging to cope during this period of global crisis. Someone is waiting for your call. Please reach out today. 876-220-6474. It's the telephone counseling ministry of the Edgewater Baptist Church.
This is a reminder that somebody cares. Endorsed by Love 101.
He knows my name. Yeah.
Johnville Salmon will be releasing his latest singles entitled Can't Stop Me Now and Christian, You Better Get Ready. Catch the live interview at 2:30 p.m. on Friday, June 24, inside Alive with Sarah and Edwards. Sponsored by Giwi's Pastries Limited, located at Main Street, Highgate, St. Mary. Johnville Salmon, new artist on the block, releasing his latest singles Can't Stop Me Now and Christian, You Better Get Ready. Friday, June 24 at 2:30 p.m. here on the family station, Love 101.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint. Let's join Roshane for a look at our Facebook, YouTube, and WhatsApp friends answer today's question. What is your reaction to shrinkflation? Roshane.
Well, I'm seeing quite a few responses here. Cherry from
As
Spanish
expected.
is saying, beautiful morning, shrinkflation. We pay more money and the packages are smaller, prettier, fancy. Inflation go up and the quantity gets smaller. Moreover, our Jamaican dollar has no value. Any country with $5,000 note, what does it say? Diane from Willowdene is saying, good morning, Russian. Question to the Morning Watch. When you go to buy nowadays, the package is smaller and more money. There's somebody here, Sister P from Toronto.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, Dr. Dylan Toussaint and guest. This is profound. However, I must say, and this is Sister P from Toronto again, it's the time we're living in, folks. Right here in Toronto, I went to purchase an amends powder. Amends is manufactured in Jamaica, I like it. And the size was smaller. I noticed it right away, but it was $3 more. Before, the size was bigger. It was $12 and $3, $15 for a smaller size. Honestly, I walked out and left it because it's not food. Bless you all. Have a wonderful.
Good morning, Roshane. Good morning, Pastor Dylan Toussaint.
Morning.
Good morning to your able guests, listeners of Love 101 and staff. Every day I never know name shrinkflation. I know about inflation. But every day I see shrinkflation. You see it in everything mostly where you buy. Everything. You buy a pack of banana chips, so here. A pack of them cheese snack, so here in the bag.
All right, let's continue. Another one here is even patty and buns. Let's not talk about, okay, not calling the name of the suppliers, you know.
No.
Yeah, we have to leave some of these ones. Somebody was commenting on what doctor was saying. All I can do is to ban my belly and eat, and I've been eating less and conserving as much as possible. Somebody was commenting to say, oh no, Mr. Mahfood, I shop with a list compare prices. I pick up the based on prices. And you made a point, Dr. Toussaint, and I will throw things to you where I remember working with this water company, and all of us went to the same catchment area
Uh-huh.
and it's like you have like 10 different brands, and all of these different brands water, all of us went to the same place, but it's just really the brand that makes a difference. He was given a comparison where the corned beef is concerned. So
Yeah.
I can attest to that.
It's a concern. It really is a concern.
You
And
know,
as somebody say with banana chips, so ear. It's true,
Yeah.
So ear. Yeah, it's true. It's true.
All right. Over to
Okay.
you. Over to you, Doc.
I tell you, thanks so much for the responses, those who responded. And we hope that we can address these issues in short order. We now segue into the second watch. Now, in a recent Gleaner article entitled Contracting of Children in Sports and Entertainment to Get Attention, mention was made of the Ministry of Labor and Social Security reportedly ramping up efforts to stamp out child labor. What really are the kinds of child labor that children are engaged in? And why is it an issue? And what is the appropriate response? Discuss these and other related matters. We have joined us this morning Mrs. Betty Ann Blaine, children's rights advocate and founder of Hear the Children's Cry, and Mr. Warren Thompson, registrar at the National Children's Registry, CPFSA. Good morning to you both.
Good morning, Dr. Toussaint. Morning, Warren. And morning to your listeners. Good morning.
Morning. All right. Is Mr. Warren on? Mr. Thompson on as yet?
Still waiting on Mr. Warren.
Okay, good. We hope to be joined by Mr. Thompson soon. Morning again, Mrs. Blaine.
Yes.
All right, good to have you. How are you doing? I want to give you.
Pardon me?
Yeah, I want to give you the opportunity, I'm sure, to make expressions in regards to what took place yesterday.
Oh, yeah, I would have certainly started with that. I really want to offer, on behalf of the team at Hear the Children's Cry, our condolences for that absolutely horrendous tragedy yesterday. Yeah. I just want to say that we, particularly as Christians, as believers, we cannot live in a country like this. We cannot live in a country where we are fed on a steady diet of child murders, child abuse, child pornography, all kinds of abuses against our children. We should not accept it. The church must now stand up boldly and speak about how we can begin to address this problem of our children, the abuses against our children. Violence against even one child is violence against all of us, because it diminishes our humanity. And none of us can be satisfied and happy about what we're seeing happening in Jamaica in terms of our children. So I want to say how very sorry I am, certainly heartbroken, very angry, but want to reach out and call out to people listening here to your show this morning, to Christians especially. Let us do something about it. Churches are in every single community in this country. In some communities, you have several churches in a very small geographic area. The churches, the umbrella groups and other churches, every single pastor today should be calling a meeting, whether it's by Zoom, whether it's face-to-face, with his or her church to discuss what can we do as church in this country to address this problem of the abuses against our children.
Thank you, Mrs. Blaine.
It's an obligation. It's an obligation.
Thank you. I gather Mr. Warren is, Mr. Thompson is on. Good morning, Mr. Thompson.
Hi, good morning.
Yes, and I'm sure from your NCPFSA expressions in regards to what took place yesterday.
Well, it's just it's a very sad occasion. Our team was on the ground yesterday, and I can tell you, our own team members are feeling it. Just being there with the family, it really shook us up. And we can't even imagine how the family are feeling. But it has really caused us to be reflecting on just the state, in our nation, and how children often fall prey. Well, I should say, children are almost like pawns whenever there is a domestic situation. We use children to get back at somebody else, and children often suffer. Yeah, children suffer.
So sad. Yeah, Mr. Thompson. Yeah, I'm sorry, we're up on a break. Hold that thought.
Okay, no problem.
50 and over, get the best health plan as well as fabulous discounts. Visit ccrponline.org today or call 469-1944 and live life to the fullest. The time by CCRP is...
It is now 7:45 right here on the family station, Love 101. Stay tuned.
Refreshing your space should be a breeze. And at Active Home Center, we have made it easy by having what you need all in one place. Shop the largest selection of tiles, bathroom fixtures, lighting, doors, and more. Visit us at 84 Conklin Spring Road in Kingston or check out our newly opened location in Freeport, Montego Bay. Come speak with our in-house experts and refresh on your space. Active Home Center. More savings, more choices.
Keep fully connected with Flow Fiber Fast Internet at home and on the road with LTE data and calls for a fast, reliable experience anywhere. Over 500 communities have been upgraded since 2020, making more of Jamaica Flow Fiber Fast. And with Yard and Road, get Flow Fiber Faster Yard and LTE Road for as low as $3,999 plus GCT. Visit discoverflow.co to get connected on Jamaica's largest network. Conditions apply.
Trying to plan a family getaway? Fix it. Always dreamed of taking a cruise? Fix it. Kitchen needs upgrading? Fix it. Fixing your financial future is easy with a Sagicor Bank Extended Term Certificate of Deposit account. Open your account today, save for 18, 24, 30 months or up to 3 years and get guaranteed interest paid monthly or at maturity. Fix your financial future with a Sagicor Bank Extended Term Certificate of Deposit account. Sagicor Bank, in your corner, supporting you. Conditions apply.
Exporters, importers, all stakeholders. Get the facts on Jamaica's Authorized Economic Operator, or AEO program, at the Jamaica Customs Agency's CCC online forum. Click, connect, and converse with Customs. Thursday, June 30, 2022, from 10:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. under the theme Jamaica's AEO program, facilitating a safer and more effective supply chain, locally and globally. Log on for AEO requirements and benefits and clarify any misconceptions. So click, connect, and converse with Customs. Thursday, June 30 at 10:30 a.m. Register at jacustoms.gov.jm. Jamaica Customs, keeping our customers in focus.
Welcome back to the Morning Watch. Thanks for staying with us. I'm your host, Dylan Toussaint, and in the second half of the second watch, we are discussing the whole matter of child labor in Jamaica. But even before we seek to delve into our discussion, we are reflecting on what transpired, what took place yesterday in regards to the gruesome killing. And we have online Mrs. Betty Ann Blaine, founder of Hear the Children's Cry, Mr. Warren Thompson, registrar at the National Children's Registry. Before the break, Mr. Thompson, perhaps a minute just to wrap up your reflections, thoughts, concerns about yesterday. Mr. Thompson? All right, not here, Mr. Thompson. Mr. Thompson, with us?
Yes, are you hearing me?
Yes, hearing you now. Yeah, just a minute to wrap up your thoughts on that. Just a minute, and then we go delve into our discussion.
Yeah, man. I was saying that we really have an issue in Jamaica in terms of violence against children. And, Jamaica is a pathfinder country. We have a national plan of action for an integrated response to children and violence. And if you look at the plan, it really looks at cultural change. Because, as I said before, children often fall victims to violence, really because of no fault of their own. We have a culture that just, is just cruel to our children. And I think every single Jamaican needs to think about our role and how we view children and, our responsibility in protecting children. What happened yesterday to those 4 children, it should not have happened. Even if they're a baby, suffered because of some adult's decision to inflict harm. Whether just harm on those who were killed, but or harm on the extended family or the community. We really need to get at the heart of the root of the problem. And I think some real psychoanalysis needs to be done with the perpetrator to get an understanding of why someone
we're in a bad way. We're in a bad way.
Yes.
Mrs. Blaine, still with us? Mrs. Blaine?
Yes, I'm still with you. Yes.
Yeah, thanks. Yes, as we go back to original topic, child labor. From your vantage point, your years of working in this area, how widespread is it? And I'm not so sure people understand what child labor is. Are you able to expand on that?
Well, look, it's hard work. I mean, the Child Care and Protection Act talks about this, specifically about child labor. There are laws. It's illegal for children to be doing certain types of work. If they do light chores, around the house or whatever, that's not considered to be child labor. But what we're talking about when we talk about child labor is what we see on children vending on the streets, day and night, doing all different types of hard labor. That's illegal. Any type of labor that deprives children or interferes with their education, for example, or if it deprives children of their freedoms as children, that's considered to be child labor, and it is illegal. But I want to say this quickly, Dr. Toussaint. To really understand and properly address and deal with this problem of child labor in Jamaica, I think we have to put it in its proper context. Now, child labor is a product of poverty in Jamaica. There's no doubt about it.
Yes.
It is one of the starkest examples of the two Jamaicas in which we live. In other words, you never see children from the middle and upper classes engage in child labor. You don't see them on the street selling or vending or begging or whatever the case is. So it is a product of poverty. Having said that, since we know that, the way to properly address this is to begin to drill deeper into who are these children? Why are they vending on our streets? Why are they working like this? Is it that they have to bring an income in for the mother or the families? When you see them on the street selling, and by the way, any child that I see vending, I always stop and speak to them. I want to know why you're out here. You see, children. I see children in the Constant Spring area vending. I ask them where they live. They live downtown, so they're traveling miles from their homes to be selling and vending. And sometimes it's not just boys, girls too, as we know, and they are selling at hours of the night. And this is a problem. So we are going to have to, but we can fix. This is a problem that can be solved very, very easily. Because it's not, the numbers are, I believe the numbers have decreased somewhat. Warren can verify that perhaps. But we just simply have to work with these families. Who are these children? Who they live with? Is it mother, father, whomever? Why are they on the streets? Why are they engaged in child labor? Why are they not going to school? We can do it by, I would like to recommend that we establish a child labor task force that would begin to look at, they have to make these home visits.
Yeah.
We don't have that already. We don't have a task force.
So if I can jump in here. Yes, so, we have recognized that it is a problem. And we actually have a street and working children, I don't know if you should call it a task force or a technical working group, but it's an intersectoral group that is currently working on a plan of action to address the issue. We actually did a study prior to COVID, on street and working children. And the findings of that study is what we're using now as a kind of a baseline to help us to strategize and to create a response. I want to just support what Mrs. Bain just said, that we recognize that there are some particular communities that children are coming from to work. And I do the same thing too. Sometimes when I see them or they approach me, I have a conversation. I think last week or the week before, I was in Barbican and I saw some youngsters selling. So I said, where are you from? And they were coming all the way from Waterhouse. So I've been talking to them about how did you get here, where are your parents, and so on. And there are some of them who are being sent out by their parents. And I have to tell you, forced selling or forced begging is also a crime. So we recognize that it is an issue. And,
so
and
stick up in there, Mr. Thompson. I'm so sorry. If we see a child selling and begging, right, and we buy or we give them something, are we not accessories to a crime?
No, I'm not going to say that you're accessory to a crime in that instance, because where it is a crime is where the child is being exploited. So and that's when it moves now from just child labor to something like human trafficking, and that's where a child, for example, is given like a quota, and the child is abused if they don't meet the quota, and the child doesn't have any freedom, and if the child had his way, he will not be out there. But we know that there are some children, who want to be on the street. In fact, some of them, when they see you come, because sometimes they think I'm a police. When they see me come, they'll run, or sometimes we remove them from the street, and as they return back to their families, they go back out. Some of them want to be out there. But child labor is any kind of work that prevents a child from accessing education or from enjoying play and recreation. And of course, it is any kind of work that is dangerous to the child and hazardous, including moral danger.
What about advertisements then, Mr. Thompson? I'm seeing advertisements more and more with children, part of the ad. What does the law say in regards to that?
Right. So the law allows a child to engage in artistic work, and the child can be paid for artistic work as long as that work does not cause a child to be disadvantaged in terms of education. The child must be going to school. The child must have free time to play and enjoy themselves and so on. So they can do artistic work, right? But it cannot be where they are doing this work and nothing else is being done. They can't get an advertising contract, and then because of the contract, they have to be missing out school. That cannot be the case.
Okay. Well, we have 1 minute and a half left. Mrs. Blaine, final thoughts?
Yeah, so solution. So this problem can be solved quite quickly and easily in our country. It's not like some of the other deep problems we have. I think in two ways. By direct interventions, what Warren is talking about, what I'm calling the task force, people that would work with these families. That's one thing. And through public education, I believe that if we were to engage in both of those things, we can solve this problem. Children, I guess they like to earn a little money, but again, because the problem is poverty. When I look at some of them on the street selling, I feel sorry for them. I couldn't do that. It's hard work. And so I don't think any child would want to work like that. That's not what they would choose. They would prefer an easier life. And so I think we can solve this problem. We're not talking about huge numbers of children. Although, to tell you the truth, the numbers are very fluid. It's very difficult to manage because they move up and down, and we don't even know what's happening to a large degree in many of the communities, both urban and rural.
Yeah. Well, we have to leave it there, believe it or not, ladies and gentlemen. I want to thank you both for joining us. These are issues that are ongoing. I want to thank you both for your good work, great work that you have been doing in regards to child advocacy. God bless you.
God bless you too and your listeners. Thank you very much.
Good.
Okay. Thank you, listeners, for being with us. Join us again tomorrow as we continue to set the stage for a discussion of topical and controversial issues. For information on how to get copies of this program, call our production department, 876-968-9596-7. This has been the Morning Watch. Thanks to our producer and our guests. I'm Dylan Toussaint, reminding you to be purposeful, faithful, thankful, and watchful as I hand you back to Love in the Morning with Rashane Douglas.
Thank you, Dr. Toussaint. Have a great day now.
You too, my brother.
NHF beneficiaries enrolled for diabetes can apply online for a glucometer to help manage diabetes. Visit www.nhf.org.jm. The time by the NHF is...
It is now 8 o'clock, approaching 8:01 time.